Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, it is just past midnight on Thursday, December the 4th, which makes this the news and events for Wednesday, December the 3rd, day 1379. Hey, Derek Sands. Of Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. How do you do? I'm Peter Alexievich, and this is the Live at 5 from Kyiv. Hey, super user. Coming to you from this major European capital currently under siege. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Flying Sunbeams. Hey, Chef Deb. Hey, Liam. Hey, Bernard. Doing okay. Hey, Seawolf. Good evening. How do, G2? Evening, Alice. Got Comcast. What a terrible name. Hey, Clive Sutton. Hey, Chrissy Locks. Polovdi. Hey, Jan. How's everybody doing tonight? .net, no less. I'll tell you, I do love the lobby in Philadelphia. The Comcast lobby in Philadelphia is 6 stories high. It's a big open space. And against the one wall are like 1 million TV screens. And they can treat each screen like a pixel. And they do these amazing shows like, not projections, but synchronized imaging on the wall. It's really quite astonishing. Hey, Maria Holm. Hey, Refurb Man, you're early. Denang me, why don't you get a rope and hang me? How you doing, Denang? Viva Denang. Hey, Den. Hey, Eli. How is everybody doing tonight? Oh, we got a TA in here. It's always good to have a TA around. Hey, Jake Lukowski. How you living, pal? How's life in the big city? Hey, Pingu. Hey, Ted. Hey, Guard. All right. Hey, David Brown. All right, guys, let's take a look. Hey, Ivan. Hey, Havard. I did not see, who's our sponsor tonight? Oh, I can't remember. What is that guy's name? Oh, yeah, Arna. It's Arna again. So I didn't see him come in. Is NATO taking up the slack? Listen, with the U.S. out of the deal, with the U.S. not supporting Ukraine, they're not supporting NATO either. The Trump administration is doing everything it can to distance itself from NATO and Europe. It is insane. It's as though we have learned nothing from the last 120 years. It's as though the 20th century did not happen to these people. And they want to go back to a time of no vaccines and no education so that you keep cheap workers and labor around. It's insane. It is a betrayal of everything that we are supposed to believe in as Americans. Our transatlantic partnerships with the Europeans post-World War II are the principal drivers of our economy. We do more business with the Europeans than anybody else. They buy more of our shit than anybody else. And they pay top dollar because they got fucking money. It is insane to be cutting off our noses, to spite our faces in this bullshit. Because Donald Trump thinks if he bankrupts the United States and makes himself God Emperor for life, that he will have won. And he is very happy to bankrupt the rest of us to do it. Just as he has been happy to rip off every contractor he ever hired, every porn star he ever fucked. I mean, the guy is a piece of shit beyond words. How did I get started on that? What started that off? I forget what I was going to say. The United States just keeps stabbing Ukraine in the back. It's outrageous. Now, on this latest Witkoff meeting, it is important to recognize that as of the time of this live stream, right, just past midnight on the 4th of December here in Kyiv, Putin has not rejected the U.S. offer. He did do all those Kremlin bullshit humiliation rituals that we've come to expect from this tiny little man trying to be a big man. He kept the American delegation waiting 3 hours. He had a press conference at a business seminar where he said very volatile, provocative things, like, if Europe wants war, we're ready to go to war right now. As if we don't all know that 1.2 million of your men are sunflower fertilizer in Ukraine or in a wheelchair. Like we don't know that? Come on. Yeah, they're ready to go to war with Europe, and the Girl Scout troop down the street from my parents' home is ready to take on the U.S. Marines. Give me a break. But Peskov did say today, and this was the last official word we've had from the Kremlin on this, Putin didn't say no. He did not reject the offer. Now, there are lots of headlines out there that say he has. To the best of my knowledge, this is not accurate. It is fair, it would not be unfair to say that he has in essence rejected this offer because he has put red lines that are non-starters for Ukraine and are never going to be agreed to. So he's intentionally put roadblocks up because we know he does not want peace. He cannot afford peace. He can't afford it. It will be the end of him. Just today, we got a report. We've talked a little bit about how violent crime has risen in Russia since soldiers from the special military operation have been returning home. Well, now they're returning home by the tens of thousands. And it is creating a violent crime wave across Russia. Violent crime hit its 15-year high this year, or is on track to hit the 15-year high this year. I keep saying that when this thing is over, Russia is going to descend into an orgy of violence. And here's some more evidence for that. Just today, we got the story that a Russian serviceman was captured in Ukraine, returned home in a prisoner exchange. He immediately signed up, got a new contract to rejoin the SMO, and got himself assigned to the company where the men who had abused him before he was captured by the Ukrainians, his fellow service members, other Russian military guys, who he claimed had abused him badly before he was captured. He shot them all, killed them all 7 of them, and then fled. So this is a guy who comes out of the prison camp and signs up again so that he can go and take revenge on those people who made his life hell. There are lots of those people coming home, and they are going to want revenge on the people that tied them to trees and beat them with sticks, that threw them, stripped them naked, threw them in a pit with another naked Russian soldier, and told the two, one of you comes out of the pit. If you don't kill the other one with your own bare hands, we will shoot you both. And they had to fight to the death barefisted for the amusement of their comrades. None of this is going to go well. It is not going to go well. Now, Rubio also said that some progress has been made, but I think that this is all nonsense. I think if Putin's not going to reject this, he's going to be angling for another meeting with Trump. I think he needs a meeting with Trump. And I think that that's what he's really hoping to get out of this. Himself alone in a room with Trump, no interpreters, just them. Now, here's a very interesting story. That sunflower oil tanker that we thought was hit with Ukrainian sea drones yesterday, turns out it was not hit by sea drones at all. The captain of the ship is claiming that the ship was hit by aerial drones. Okay, that's interesting. It's not unheard of, but it's unusual. Ukraine is saying they did not hit that ship. Ukraine is saying that they did not hit the sunflower oil ship. That was not a Ukrainian strike. Now, maybe they have a reason to lie about it. But let's look at some of the evidence about this ship from the Russian side. First of all, it's attacked by aerial drones, not sea drones. And there is no video of it. The Ukrainians almost always try to have a spotter drone nearby that can take video, and then we get to see the video, like the video of the Kairos and the Virat getting smoked when they came into the Black Sea last week. No video for this. Ukraine says they didn't do it. The ship, though it was 70 miles off the coast of Turkey, hundreds of kilometers from the port of Novorossiysk, where it sailed out of, it was hit by aerial drones. Okay, so that's pretty far from Ukraine. What long-range drones could make it that far? Well, the number one choice would be the FP1 drone. That's Ukraine's superior long-range drone. And the Russians say, well, that's funny. We just happen to have a bunch of pieces of drone right here. Take a look. So there's these pictures that have surfaced on the internet, and I spent a lot of time today reading analysis of these pictures. And there is a consensus among analysts. In the pictures, you clearly see a wheel, like landing gear for a little plane, right? Hey, Van. The only thing is, the FP1 drone doesn't have wheels. So it can't be an FP1 drone. All right, well, what looks like an FP1 drone but has wheels and could make it that far? The Lyut drone. It's got wheels. So maybe it's a Lyut. But it can't be a Lyut because Lyuts are pre-programmed to go to stationary targets. You can't send them at a boat because you don't know where the boat is going to be when the drone gets there. There's no manual intervention. It's a pre-programmed flight path. So you need a non-moving target. Now, this is all further confused by the fact that the ship was off the coast of Turkey, but it was supposed to be delivering sunflower oil from Novorossiysk in Russia to Georgia. Well, guess what? If you're in Turkey, you missed your stop. It was 200 miles back the other way. You passed Georgia by several hundred miles and are now off the coast of Turkey. If this was a Russian false flag operation, which increasingly it appears to be, you would want it to happen in Turkish territorial waters because the Turks are pissed about the Kairos and the Virat getting hit last week. They don't want to see it in their waters. They don't want the mess. They don't want the hassle. They don't want the danger to their own shipping lanes. They don't want it. So you make sure it happens in a country that's already pissed off about it happening. That's where you'd want it to be. There's no evidence that the ship was hit at sea in the Black Sea. It wasn't hit by marine drones, was hit by aerial drones. Could have been hit anywhere. The captain radioed into the Turkish Coast Guard at Sinop and came into the port of Sinop under its own power. Didn't require any assistance to get there. It came from Novorossiysk, which has been struck twice by drones and Neptune missiles in the past couple weeks. This could easily have been a ship at dock in Novorossiysk that sustained damage in one of those strikes and then was sent out as a casus belli, right, as an excuse for the Russians to do something truly awful. Now, I don't know what that truly awful thing is going to be, but I think that we should gird our loins for some real bullshit, some real atrocities, and some real war crimes from our friends in the Kremlin. That's what I think is coming next. And I think they're going to use this as the excuse. Now, my friends, Ukraine has not been taking any of this lying down. I got a list of Ukrainian strikes here that is just one boom baby after another boom baby. The Ukrainians have been busy. Last night, we saw the Druzhba pipeline hit again. The Druzhba is one of the most massive oil pipelines in the world. It's something like 5,500 kilometers, 3,400 miles, end to end, taking crude oil all the way from the oil fields of Siberia all the way to Germany. Or at least it used to go to Germany. The Germans have shut it down now, of course. The only place it really feeds oil to are Hungary and Slovakia, the lapdogs of the Russian Federation inside of the EU. Orban is up for re-election April 26th. Let's hope the good people of Hungary kick his fat ass to the curb. Let's hope so. So now the Druzhba pipeline, this enormous pipeline that makes Russia billions of dollars every year and that pumps the crude oil to Hungary and Slovakia and a few other smaller markets. Austria, I think, gets some of it. Where was it hit? It was hit just across the Sea of Azov from Ukraine in the Taganrog, Lipitsky direction. It was the same kind of operation we saw in the Moscow Ring Road pipeline bombing about a month ago. GUR operatives are said to have attached explosives and incendiary materials to the pipeline at several points in this region and then detonated them with remote detonators. So same methodology that we saw in Moscow, a critical component of supplying crude oil, not just to Hungary and Slovakia, Europe, but in Russia's military-industrial complex. The Druzhba feeds the whole central Russian military-industrial complex, the factories, right. This is a critical hit. And we will see how soon they get it back up and running. Pipeline is easy to fix, which I think is why the Ukrainians, the other two times they hit this, August 13th and August 23rd or 26th, I want to say. The two times that they've hit it, they hit the pumping station at Uchna in Bryansk region. That pumping station is a central hub for the northern, southern, and eastern branches of the Druzhba pipeline. And by hitting the hub, you cut off the oil in all directions. Now, that is not all. In the last month, we have seen 2 hits on the Akhmat bases in Chechnya. Back on December 3rd, we saw the Akhmat base hit, and then just a few nights ago, we saw the Akhmat Special Regiment, 40 kilometers east of Grozny, hit, along with the Grozny FSB building. Now, these are fairly deep strikes inside of Russia, and Ukraine is getting increasingly good at these deep strikes. They picked the FSB building and the Akhmat out over something like 700 kilometers. In Oriel, in the town of Livny, we saw the oil depot burning. At least 2 tanks there are on fire. In November, we saw 14 strikes on oil refineries, the largest number of strikes in a single month on oil refineries since the start of the war. December 1st, we saw the Ilsky and Tuapse refineries struck. Then we had a car bomb in Moscow, which really curiously, of all the people to unalive, this is the most interesting one. And by the way, Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for this car bombing. This could be an internal Russian territorial fight, gangster revenge, you fucked my wife. Could be anything, right? We really don't know, and Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for it. But there was a car bombing in Moscow. It killed a quantum computing specialist. Now, this is very interesting to me because that's a kind of rarefied branch of computer science. It's all tied up with the potential or potentialities of AI. And it's possible that he was working on some kind of military application. Like I think about the Griseldis AI target acquisition and identification system that the Ukrainians use. That's an AI-driven tool that can map an area and it can identify, oh, that's a BTR. Oh, that's a T-90 tank. That's a T-72 tank. That's a Volkswagen Beetle, right? So target identification and acquisition would be a prime spot for somebody like this to be working on. Now, we don't know the nature of this guy's work. It was classified, and his death came as a shock to his colleagues. This one is a bit of a mystery. Ukraine hit a Shahed drone storage facility in southeast Crimea with FP2 drones. We're waiting on a damage assessment there. Rosneft released its Q3 numbers, and profits are down 70%. Now, look, I don't know if you remember Gazprom last year. Gazprom last year had its first loss in 20 years. And in Q3, September earnings put them at $4 billion in the black. Then the December budget reconciliation comes along, and all of a sudden, the company lost $6.7 billion for the year. Biggest loss, I think, in the history of Gazprom. So the fact that Rosneft is reporting earnings down 70% at the end of September, before Donald Trump's sanctions against them even kicked in, very strongly indicates to me that Rosneft will be posting a loss for the year. And it is likely to be in the billions or tens of billions of dollars. It is not looking good. Now, to move to the the Russian papers and the economy news. Because again, thanks to our buddy Steve Rosenberg, our man from the BBC in Moscow, we have these quotes from Nezavismaya Gazeta. The official report from the Kremlin economists is that October for Russia was an economic miracle in which growth, industrial growth, was 11% in 1 month. It's a miracle. Praise Putin. Praise him, from whom all good blessings flow. Now, get this. Here's the headline. October economic miracle. But Nezavismaya Gazeta is very level-headed about this news from the Russian government. Dig this, what they said in the Russian paper about the economic miracle. They start by calling it, quote, abnormal growth. Abnormal growth in one autumn month did not reduce the risk of recession in 2026. Official statistics recorded a real economic miracle in Russia. In 1 month, domestic industry realized production or increased production by about 11%. Such, quote, such unprecedented growth rates are put down to a jump in the production of defense goods as well as extraction and oil refining, both of which we know were down in October, by the way. Quote, now get this, this is the telling part. This is the part where the Russian people look at the Russian government and say, we know you're lying to us. We know you know that we know that you are lying to us, and we cannot contradict you. Quote, but a more plausible explanation is the peculiarities of accounting. That really does give the game away right there. And I think that it is astonishing that such a statement could be in a newspaper in Putin's Russia today, where the iron fist of the Kremlin clamps down on all dissident voices. But a more plausible explanation is the peculiarities of accounting. Similar anomalies were observed before in December each year, when enterprises collectively reported on the implementation of, at the same abnormal rate of 11% a month. It's not only production that is growing, so is the volume of unpaid wages. Right there in NG. So is the volume of unpaid wages. Despite the October industrial miracle, there it is again, the word miracle, the risk of recession in 2026 Russia is not decreased, it's actually increased, say independent economists. The general economic malaise is still betrayed by the rise in non-payment of wages, as well as the deterioration in the general performance of enterprises. Now, with something like 66% of 44,000 businesses reporting to Rostat are now in the red. They are not making money. Okay, I think that's it for my top line stuff today. Big thank you to Arn, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Thank you, Arn. If anybody sees him around, tell him thank you. Big thanks to Lars, who has the Discord server, Nightshade, who has the Peter's Peeps group on the Book of Faces, And of course, the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk, Maddie, Feisty, Roy, and Travis. Okay, so questions, comments, anything from anybody about anything? Oh, I'm exhausted. I didn't get a nap today. I need that little nap in the afternoon, and I didn't get it. So I'm drinking green tea tonight, which has almost as much caffeine as a cup of coffee. I really am, Seawolf. I'm old now. It's really so weird to be the same age as old people. It's so weird. Hey, Nightshade. Nice card. Nice, Mike Kelly. Any noise about foreign fighters? I don't know what you mean exactly. We know that the Russians are heavily recruiting, or some might say shanghaiing or kidnapping foreign nationals, particularly from Africa and Southeast Asia. Jerry O. Still tipping a pint though, huh, pal? Hey, Chef Deb. Oh. Hey, Chef Deb. That's freaking cursed. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Gerbils. Smokey has a great question. He says, what are your Oh, yeah, Zelensky was in Ireland, Jerry. First Ukrainian president ever to go there, right? I'd be interested if you want to tell us how it went, or if you saw it on the TV or whatever. That would be great. Just to go back to Smokey's question. Smokey has a great question. What are your primary sources of information? So virtually everything that I say on here has, and if it's not, I generally will say so, comes from multiple sources. You start with the big newspaper outlets. Today, it's mostly primary sources. So I look for announcements from the Kremlin, announcements from the European Commission press office, from the GUR, etc., right? Primary sources. Try to go to the horse's mouth, quote the GUR on what happened when they bombed the Druzhba pipeline, right? Take it right from the horse's mouth. Beyond that, newspapers, the Moscow Times, Nezavismaya Gazetia, Rossogazaya Gazetia, Moskovsky Komsmolensk, Izvestia, TASS, the Times of London, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, New York Times, less so these days, honestly. I've been a little unhappy with them. And then on the ground here in Kyiv, I will often talk about things that are happening in the life of the city, or in my life in the city. So that's those are first person accounts. ISW, of course, is a big one. Why can't I think of it? Deep State Maps is another one. Kyiv Post, Kyiv Independent, reporting from Ukraine. Steve Rosenberg at the BBC. That kind of thing. Does that answer the question, Smokey? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Yeah, Trump is taking a lot of naps. He cannot keep his eyes open, can he? Nobody cares for Trump, man. Nobody cares for Trump. And yet somehow he manages to scare everybody into doing whatever he wants them to do. Somehow Ted Cruz, J.D. Vance, his vice president, called him the mustache man of America. And 2 years later, he's wiping Donald Trump's orange shit off his nose every time he turns around. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Grotland, you are not the first person to say that about maybe it's a stroke. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, Ben Tilley, I agree. That was a great question. A stroke. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, Ben Tilley, I agree. That was a great question. Trump has created a mental health crisis. Hey, Kansas. How you doing, buddy? Nice. I don't know what that means. Micro strokes. Hey, Cyberdoc. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But he's certainly not looking well, that's for certain. I mean, the guy cannot be in great shape. The way he eats McDonald's at his age. And I mean, it's not like he's just, getting a salad and an order of fries because the fries are good. Hey, Tim, that's not it, man. That's not it. He's ordering a Filet-O-Fish sandwich and a Big Mac it's not good. The Kansas Steve account is permanently banned for being political. Oh, God. Oh, God. Am I lagging again, guys? See, the thing is, we got a Gerald Ford J.D. Vance before we get rid of Trump. We got to get rid of Vance, get somebody kind of acceptable in there, like, I don't know, what's his name? The Mormon guy that was almost a human being. Why can't I think of his name? You know who I mean? Mormon. Oh, he ran for president. Mitt Romney. Somebody like Mitt Romney, right? He'd almost be acceptable. You get J.D. Vance out, you get Mitt Romney, and then you take Trump out. Then you have the country back. And we can prosecute, rather. Maybe a little persecution is what the maggots need. But we can prosecute all these traitors in the government. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Mitt Romney took a lot of shit for not taking shit from Donald Trump. That's what we need right now, is people who aren't going to take shit from Donald Trump. Yeah, that was definitely a Freudian slip. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Marco Rubio's better than the Two Stooges. Yeah, but he's still evil. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's the evil of two lessers, definitely. But he's still evil. Yeah, we should all worry about the damage Trump is doing. It's not going to easily be undone, if it ever is. Persecute, then prosecute. Rubio is willing to be part of this. He will not stand in the way of Peter Thiel or Miller. Yeah, and that's the problem. We need people to stand in their way because what they are doing cannot be allowed. We have U.S. contractor corporations taking over. You ain't kidding. Oh, that's nice. You think Marco had a soul. It could easily. It's very much a multi-generational problem. No, I don't think you're wrong. Ugh. He is definitely conflicted. He is definitely conflicted. Do MAGAs have souls? Only if they're redheads. Hey, Kijo. Croatia in the house. All right, well, listen. My throat is still bothering me a little bit. I think we're going to end a little bit early if that's okay with everybody. I think we hit the big news today. Does anybody have anything else before we close it out? Thanks, Grotman. Again, big thanks to Arn, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Lars, who has the Discord server. Nightshade, that has the Peter's Peeps group on the Book of Faces. And, of course, the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Take care.